Thank you for joining us at xm.com for this Forex Preview video. We'll be looking at Canada's jobs report out on Friday. I'm Christina Marujos, and joining me today is investment analyst Marios Hadjikyriacos. So, Marios, one would argue that in a global weakening environment, Canada has been a relative oasis of strength, if you will. Now, the jobs report is out on Friday. It will give us a better picture of the economy. So, what do we expect from this report?
You're absolutely correct, Christina. We've really seen the Canadian economy outshine all of its other major peers in recent months. So inflation is more or less in line with the target. Economic growth has rebounded after a relatively sluggish beginning to the year. And unemployment is at multi-decade lows. Now, as far as this week is concerned, we'll get the jobs report on Friday. The forecasts point to another decent report, so the unemployment rate is expected unchanged. The net change in employment is expected to remain in positive territory after a very robust month in August. But as far as the risks around these forecasts are concerned, I think we are more likely to see disappointment in this data. And I base that on the Ivy PMI for the month. It showed employment contracting, essentially, which might be a signal that Canadian employers cut back on their hiring during the month. So, other things equal, I think we're more likely to see disappointment rather than an upside surprise in this data.
I see. Now, let's turn to the Canadian dollar a little bit now. The Bank of Canada has kept essentially a neutral stance lately, but that has not really pushed the loonie higher. So, even though other central banks have cut rates, why do you think that is so, and what is the outlook for the loonie?
That has really been a puzzle lately. So, indeed, relative interest rates have narrowed in the loonie's favor, but the currency has really been unable to, the strength in the bond market hasn't really translated into the forex market. I think that is owed, well, twofold. First, to a stronger US dollar. The US dollar has been very strong in the the entire year really, so that has capped some of the loonie strength. And secondly, we've seen oil prices decline in recent months, so that has been another factor keeping the loonie lower. Now, as far as the bigger outlook is concerned, I think it's relatively negative. And here's the argument. If the Bank of Canada staying neutral all these months while other central banks were cutting rates was not enough to push the loonie higher, it's very difficult to see what will. Maybe a major retreat in the US dollar or a major recovery in oil prices could do the trick, but both of these are unlikely in my opinion.
I see. Marios, thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
And thank you for watching us at xm.com.